In this video, I break down a live sales call I did where I closed an AI automation agency client on a simple AI agent. She had been struggling a lot over the past year, and the fact that I was able to close her on this shows the huge demand in the market right now when it comes to AI. So, if you're struggling to sign up new clients, telling you that now is not the right time or that they don't have the money, this live call will show you exactly how to overcome that. If you just apply this, it's almost impossible not to make money and close deals when it comes to building your AI automation agency. So after watching this video, you'll have a very clear understanding of my sales process so that you can just copy it. I have used this sales process to scale my AI automation agency, Gym Members Now, to generate over $16 million in sales over the last 4 years and over $6 million in profits. So if you're looking to get help starting your own AI automation agency or scale it and cash in on the AI gold rush before it ends, feel free to book a call with me and let's dive in. Okay, so here we are, and this is the recording. And while I'm doing this, like I said, I'm going to be breaking this down. So if we look at this, this is the process for the sales call. So the first thing that you're going to have is the introduction. From there, you're going to have the discovery, where you're going to diagnose their problem. You're going to build doubt around their current solution to solve that problem. And you're going to identify what their goals are and how, if they keep doing what they're doing right now, they're not going to be able to reach those goals ultimately. And then from there, once we have all these three things clear, we will transition, letting them know that we understand their situation and position ourselves as the expert. And then we will go into the pitch, where we provide them with a tailored solution based off what they're currently doing in the AI agent that I will be selling to this specific customer. And then from there, after I have pitched her on the solution, I'm going to do a temperature check to make sure that she's actually sold on what I just presented. Because if she's not, and then I go into the sales pitch for the price, more than likely she will end up not buying. Okay, so from there, it's the price pitch and then outlining next steps, collecting payment, getting agreements signed, and closing up the deal. So let's dive into it. This is going to be a fun one. What's going on?
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right. Doing all right.
Are those blue light glasses? I can see the reflection.
On you?
Blue. So, very cool. Good deal. Well, where are you located out of? Okay. Do you know where?
Yeah.
Okay, my dad lived there for a little bit.
We're yeah, pretty close.
Okay, cool. Well, I got my notes here for my team after they spoke with you, but to just really jump right into it, tell me. Okay, so what I was doing right there is the introduction, and what I like to do when it comes to the introduction is I'll just ask people, where are you from, where are you located, what's the weather like? Very basic stuff just to break the ice, and then obviously now I'm transitioning in to the discovery. Tell me what prompted you to book a call with regard to the AI.
It was AI. I use ChatGPT all the time.
Okay, just because it was AI.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Okay, what are you doing right now for your gym?
Well, I just started some print advertising. I don't yet know how that's going to pan out. I've never done that before. I've been using Facebook advertising, it's hit or miss depending on what time of year it is.
Okay, so obviously she's very interested in AI, and that's why we're talking. But now we need to direct the conversation to identifying what her actual problem is. So if I go over here, what we will see is the first part to the sales process. So this is the discovery. And what we're going to do from here is we're going to diagnose what their problems are. We're going to get clarity on the problem specifically and chunk it down with numbers. We're going to find out what she's been doing and what she's done in the past. And we're going to ultimately figure out why it didn't work so that we can articulate how what we will do is different from what she has done or is currently doing right now. And then we're going to create doubt and tension around her current situation by asking pillar-based questions. All pillar-based questions are questions around what we'll actually be selling them. So in this example, I'm going to be selling her a AI agent that helps her generate reviews and referrals. So I'm going to be asking her what her current process looks like to generate reviews and referrals. And then from here, I will be identifying the goals and then tying down the fact that if nothing changes, she's ultimately not going to be able to reach her goal. So here's a better map of what this actually looks like when it comes to diagnosing the specific problem. So obviously, we want to get clear on those specific numbers. We want to see what the financials look like over the last 30 days, over the last 3 months, over the last year. We want to see if she's been stagnant, if she's been regressing. what that all looks like, if she's actually making money, and really take it from there to diagnose what her current problem looks like and tie it down to specific numbers to create the desire to actually do something different.
I had a decent revenue pre-COVID. I had a lot of personal issues from 2020 to 2023 happened that have prohibited me from really doing what I want to do. Personal illness, things of that nature. And I've kind of started picking it up again, starting with Facebook advertising.
Okay. All right. And when it comes to the print, is that just like direct mail? Is that what you're going to be doing?
No, it's a magazine. It's a local magazine.
Okay. A local magazine.
Mhm.
Interesting. I haven't heard of many gym owners doing magazine in a while. So
There are a lot of local gym owners on.
well, hopefully it works. Wish you the best of luck with that. But as far as just everything's going, what would you say is the biggest issue for you right now that's kind of keeping you held back?
Lead generation.
And that's a great question to ask after you've kind of asked, what ultimately brought you to the call in the first place? What are you currently doing for marketing? But really just asking an open-ended question of what would you say is the biggest problem right now in your business? Because it's going to open up a whole can of worms where you're able to diagnose the problem and really chunk it down with specific numbers.
Okay. But have you been working with a company?
I work with a gym,
Big Little Gym?
big little gyms. Yeah,
Okay. And you're actively working with them, they're running marketing for you?
they have been.
Okay. But not right now.
I am still in their ad cohorts. Right now is not the best time of year to run advertising, so I'm not wasting my money on it.
Okay. And when you do run ads with them, what's the
And the really cool thing about this call is the fact that she's actually working with a competitor of mine, and I was still able to sign her up because the specific AI agent I sell to her is something that really no one else in the market is selling. Okay. So I sell a whole system of AI services, but in some certain situations when people are working with other agencies, I'm able to wiggle my way around and actually get the deal done because the company that they're working with is not providing all of the services that I can provide, which then ultimately allows me to get my foot in the door and then allows my team to upsell them. So this is a really cool one because I sell her on a low ticket AI agent, but then my team actually upsold her on an $8,000 paid in full package. And they've recently sold her on another $8,000 paid in full package. So this is a customer that's turned into over a $16,000 customer in less than 6 months.
what's the offer typically?
It depends on the time of year. In January, it will end up being weight loss and nutrition. I do rather focus on nutrition rather than weight loss.
Okay.
The menopause. Last time I ran a menopause weight loss, which had a lot of positive feedback. Interestingly enough.
Oh yeah. That's a pretty popular offer, especially online.
Well, considering that the majority of my members and myself are in that age group, it's very easy for me to understand exactly what's going on, and then we're good at making it work.
Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, that's good to know. Okay. And when was the last time you ran marketing with them?
About 4 weeks ago.
Okay. Do you have the data on how it went?
I do.
Okay. Why don't we go through that? Because I'm familiar with Big Little Gyms. I'd be curious to know what results you got.
Somewhere around 50 per acquisition. Last I looked, I haven't filled it out recently. In the last 2 weeks of advertising.
Okay, so it's not accurate.
It's not accurate to date.
Okay.
I have an estimate. I can.
So it's very important that you get the prospect to go through their numbers because if they don't, you're not going to be able to accurately assess their situation. So it's very, very important that you get them to tell you what their data looks like. A lot of the times I'll have people share their screen. If they're like, I don't have it, I'll literally say, what do you mean you don't have it? Let's pull it up. Let's find it so that we can have a good, productive conversation. Because if not, it's going to be very difficult to do that. And I'm not in the business of selling people something they don't need.
I can estimate it for you. Between 50 and 80, depending on the time of, depending on the month.
Okay.
Per acquisition, which isn't terrible.
Like,
It's like
is that per lead or per sale? Is that what you're saying?
that's per acquisition, per new member.
Okay. And that's just across the same.
Mhm.
Okay. Cool. Is this you?
That is not me. No, I don't think I'm in any of these. I am usually when saying,
This isn't you?
nope, that's my, that's us. That's fitness is us.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I just want to make sure. Okay. Just looking at your reviews, do you have a process in place to get reviews from your customers?
I do.
Okay. What does that process look like?
There's
Okay. And so if we go back over here, as far as diagnosing what the problem looks like, she clearly said it was marketing. It doesn't really sound like she has some of the data, but what I've done here instead, since she is working with another company, is I'm going right into the building doubt. So I'm asking her these questions now specific to these, because this is ultimately what I'm going to be selling. So I want to create doubt around what her current process looks like. And one thing you want to do if someone's working with another agency is you want to ask these questions like this, and then did X or does X company agency help you with this? So that's very, very important. But another thing is she just said right at the gate that she does have a process to get reviews. So even if somebody has a process to do the thing that your AI solution solves, that doesn't mean it's dead in the water, right? Because what you need to do from there is you need to chunk down what that process looks like and see if it's actually generating the results that they're looking to generate. Because if it's not, then the system needs to be changed, right? And then that's an opportunity for you to give them a more efficient and effective system or solution than what they're currently doing.
Text messages that go out, I personally ask for them for anyone who's been in the gym. That seems the best.
You haven't gotten any in 3 months though.
Nope, you're right. I haven't asked.
How many members do you have?
40.
You got 40 altogether?
Mhm.
Okay. So when people come in, you're just saying you typically will reach out and ask for a review?
I will ask at particular times. I can't do everything all at once. And asking people through text is garbage. They don't do anything with that. Although I do have a text email then sequence that goes out, but they don't respond to that. They never have, as far as I've ever had experience with.
Yeah, we got a program where we do it all for the gym. And this is an example of one. We started it a couple weeks ago through text. So the staff doesn't have to do it.
Right, but you follow up with that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do that's garbage. There's no way. I am a
Right, we do it for them.
one-person show, and I had surgery 3 weeks ago.
Okay. So I mean, it sounds like you need some help, right? That's why you're interested. Yeah.
What's going on? And
Okay. When it comes to database of leads,
So she said she has a process in place to generate reviews, yet she hasn't gotten any in 3 months. And then she started, coming up with excuses or reasons why she ultimately hasn't been able to do it. Because at the end of the day, her current process to get reviews is dependent on her. And she's a one-person show. And she just had surgery, right? So she's been going through a lot. So if her process is dependent on her and she hasn't gotten any reviews in 3 months, that's a huge problem, right? So that's a big opportunity for us to be able to help her.
leads, it could be leads that have come through ads, leads that could have been old customers. How long is it?
2,000.
Okay. Do you regularly remarket to them?
Yes, I do.
What do you do?
I will do a reactivation with, here you go. Do you want free passes? Do you want to, it depends on what they're currently doing and if they would like to come and do a couple of weeks free on the house. A lot of that list is just cold Facebook, and some of it is old to the point where I would say it's inactive. I don't have any action on some of it. But
So again, your one-man phone, that's like all on you, right?
every last bit of it is on me.
Okay. So I mean, when was the last time you did a campaign like that?
That's 3 months ago.
All right. And then just overall, as far as your goals are concerned, what are you trying to do in the next 3 to 6 months?
I would like to double membership. Honestly, I want to sell my gym and get the fuck out. I have children now, and I'm over and done with this. I've been doing it since 2008, and I have built a business. I have had the income, and I've gone through COVID, and we're at square one again.
Okay, so if we go over here, now I've crossed from that to going to her goals. So ultimately identifying what she's trying to do with her gym and with her business. And as she just said, she's ultimately looking to get out of it, right? Because she's pretty sick of the type of money, the situation, the lifestyle that she's been living because of it. And she's looking for help, right? Ultimately, that's what she's looking for. She needs help. And so we need to now identify what those goals look like and then tie down on the fact that if she doesn't change her current process, her goals will not be met.
Okay. So that's gotta be done.
That's not fun.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, just so that I'm on the same page, what would you say that, you're truly looking for when it comes to AI to kind of help you do?
My leads come in at 9, 10, 11, midnight, 1 a.m. I'm not awake.
Right.
And you can do all of the quick follow-up with automations that you want. But if it sounds like it's an automation, nobody's going to respond to it. I don't respond to that. I think it's not worth it. Oh, hey, it's 11 p.m. Oh, hey, it's Coach. Oh, no, that's not happening. That's not the person. So some kind of follow-up that doesn't sound artificial. I do find that a lot of people who are inquiring are just inquiring. And even though people who have worked with Big Little Gym say that, hey, this is working for us, around here, it's word of mouth advertising, really. That's what works.
Okay.
Unfortunately, for me, my average age is 50 plus. We don't do word of mouth very well. We're not all over Snapchat and TikTok and all that crap. We don't do it. We don't bother with that in our lives. We literally talk to somebody and encourage them to come in. That takes a very long time.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, it sounds like what you're really looking for is something that can follow up the leads for you. Because right now you have automation set up. If somebody responds, you got to intervene.
And I'm also finding that the automations that are set up, I've had to modify them. So
And this is with Big Little Gym.
yeah, and other people, they've started experimenting with AI. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all what they're doing. They have a Facebook, something or other, appointment lead gen. I stopped doing that because if they respond at all, they could say, up your nose for hoses. And it's going to say, oh, we don't have that time available. What the heck is that? It has to work, and it doesn't work. We just had a meeting a couple weeks ago that I went to for the ads cohort, and we're all saying the same thing. This isn't working. Fix it. This is
Okay,
just my business. I'm not into
Okay. So yeah, they're generating leads, then they have some automation set up, and they're testing out some AI.
it. Does seem like they're testing, and they should not be testing live and costing me money doing it. Because they're costing me lead.
Right.
And
Yeah.
costing me my cost per acquisition, and I'm not interested in that. So
Okay. So it sounds like you're ready to make a change.
I'm done with. They still do my website. I'm not gonna, and I really do like their CRM that they have. I'm not
High level?
change over. They use High Level. I don't see High Level, and I personally use High Level, and it's the same. Except when they say when I was introduced to High Level, I seem to get into these things. It's just the flow that I happen to be in. They're just starting to experiment with stuff. And I want something that's not experimental. With high level, you still had to get in there and intervene, and you had to make sure that everything was timed just right. And I could write an automation with the best of them. I've used Infusionsoft, and it could be complicated beyond belief.
So they just gave you the tool, but you had to run.
Yeah, I had to run it, which is not suitable for someone who's doing it on their own. I used to have a team, and after COVID, everybody they evaporated.
Right. You can be in a position where you're not messing with the software.
Right, exactly. It has to be sustainable. It has to be feasible. I have to be able to not work 50 hours a week. It needs to be a standard 40-hour work week that's reasonable hours, and I still can get my granddaughter off the bus at 4 o'clock without having to worry about who's texting me on my phone, answering them immediately right away.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Okay. Is there anything else you think you'd want to share?
And that's the gist of it. It's like I really am looking for an exit strategy, but I need the gym to be profitable.
So I kept kind of pushing her in that direction because she's obviously not happy with the current solution she has. It's requiring a lot of her time and she's paying money for it. And it's still requiring her a lot of her time, right? So you could even hear me say, it sounds like you're ready to make a change. And then I asked there at the end, is there anything else you feel like you haven't covered that would help me understand your situation better? Because that's a very good question to ask after you've gone through the discovery. Because once you've done that, you can now get into the transition. But it also gives you an opportunity to see, number one, if there's some other stuff that they haven't shared, it's going to give them an opportunity to think about that. But number two, it's not going to give you an opportunity to think through if you asked everything you needed to ask in the discovery to do an adequate job so that you have enough ammunition going into the pitch to then close them and tailor the pitch to them. Okay.
So that I can make that exit.
Yeah.
So at least to a point where I'm out even, or someone takes over most. I don't mind running the business. What I mind is I've had multiple spine surgeries in the last couple of years, major spine surgeries. I have a 5-level fusion. I got rods and screws. Rod up the back of my neck. It was a medical issue, a medical mistake, honestly, that brought me to this point. And it hurts to train all of these classes. So the best thing for me physically would be to get somebody else to take over those classes. That doesn't seem to be coming to fruition at this point in time. So I'll take anything else that makes my world easier.
Okay.
Allows me to start to move out of the spotlight.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense. I definitely think we can help you out based off what you're currently doing and kind of what you have going on and the issues you're facing. But what we do is we help gym owners that don't have control over their growth strategy to get control over it, leveraging AI. Okay. And it's the same system that we use across my business partners' gyms. So I don't know about Big Little Gyms. I don't know if he owns gyms, but my business partner is 122 Anytime Fitnesses in America. He's the second largest Anytime Fitness center. I've got a guy on my team that owns Orange Theories. I've got another guy that owns 15 Anytime Fitnesses and 3 Emotion Stretch Labs. Okay. So it's stuff that we test out of their gyms and studios before we ever give it to our clients to make sure it works. But for you specifically,
Okay, so now if we go back over to our map, you can see what I just did was the transition. I let her know that I understood her situation and now we could help in a non-salesy way. So it's not like I said, I guarantee we can get you to 2x your business so that you can exit it in the next 6 months, right? I didn't say anything like that. Brought back her problems to the surface a little bit. Obviously, it's taking her time. And then I stated my expertise along with my minority business partner that I brought in that actually owns over 100 gyms. And then I referenced a couple other team members of mine that have gyms as well and studios like her. So now what I'm doing is I'm going into the pitch. And while we're going into the pitch, the way that we do this is we're going to be pitching this specifically right here. And the best way to do this is taking this formula right here to format your specific pitch. And it's simple as taking their words that they told us. You know how you said earlier, you've currently only gotten 1 review in the last 3 months because it's dependent on you and you just don't have the time to do it and it's stressing you out. Well, what we do is we connect our AI to the reviews so that you can get reviews consistently without you having to lift a finger. And the best part about this is you're going to also be getting referrals because we'll follow up with people after they leave reviews to generate referrals as well. And then the reason why this is so important is because if you're not generating reviews, you're not going to rank as high as you could organically on Google, which means people aren't going to be able to find you as easily and you're going to have less website lead traffic. Okay, so that is really the framework and formula for the pitch that I'll be using. And then one thing you really want to do is just ask them if it makes sense and then ask them what questions specifically do you have on that. Instead of asking, do you have any questions? You really want to ask, what questions do you have on that? Because it assumes they have a question. And if you can get them to start talking and create dialogue, it will reinforce what you just pitched them a lot more in the back of their head so that they actually understand exactly what you just said, so that they have clarity around it. Because if they don't have clarity and a clear understanding of it, they're not going to buy. Okay, so that's very, very important.
really the best thing for you to do would be 3 things. And the first thing of this is right now you got a big database of leads. Since you're a one-man show, you're not tapping into those leads not
nearly as deep as I could be.
Exactly. So what we would do is we plug our AI into it and segment it based off gender and then reach out to these people to nurture them to book a consult with you hands-free from you. Okay. And we would do this every quarter
Mhm.
with a different type of an offer. But the most important thing here is obviously once people show interest, we're right on top of it immediately, following up with them. Okay. So that's the first thing. You see the benefit there?
Yeah. You go ahead. Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then the second thing is reviews. So, you said you need to be asking for them, but sometimes you forget. So what we do is we make it so that we get connected to your backend. So that whenever a new person comes in, whenever you get a new sign up, based off your usage report, we follow up with people, ask them on a scale of 1 to 5 how their experience has been. If they say a 4 or 5, we ask them for a review. And if they don't leave one, we keep following up with them, right, to get a review. And then from there, once they leave a review, we respond to it for you. And then we ask them if they want to be opted in for a chance to win a free month to basically share a link with their friends and family where you can generate referrals, where we send them to a landing page where we can get referrals and generate leads for you that way.
Yeah, that's unique. I haven't heard that before. That approach before.
No one knows. So that's what we would do with the reviews. And one of the most important things with reviews and being visible in Google is frequency and quality of reviews, right? Where right now, I think your last review was 3 months ago.
Yep. That was the last time that I actually went and said, hey guys, hey, do you have any idea how beneficial this is to, you notice that not a lot of new people come in.
Right.
That they're not your friends. They're completely foreign to you. Well, this is why. But they don't get that. They don't understand that. They don't, but honestly, they don't give a shit. They don't care. It's to the point where it's like, do you want me to keep doing this? I mean, I know that there's 25% of you who actually give me feedback.
So you can see we're having dialogue now, which is reinforcing the fact that she needs to do this, which is very important during the pitch. You don't want it to be a situation where you're just spewing out words. You want it to be a back and forth conversation.
And the other 75%, nothing. I get nothing from you. So I could just as easily open up a one-on-one personal training studio, keep those 25 really nice people who interact and are lovely to work with, and get rid of all the rest of you. And people will have you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, you don't have to ask them because we'll ask them for you. And then the AI will follow up with them like crazy and also double tap them to get referrals for you. Okay. So there's a lot of opportunity there. We currently don't have a process.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty much it. That's really what I would recommend for you based off your situation right now, because I know you're on a budget, you're a one-man show, and really what this comes down to is just getting more opportunities for as little money to be spent as possible.
Right.
Yeah. So just in terms of the process, does that all make sense?
That does make sense. It is pretty much covering a lot of the things that I have to rotate. This is what I'm doing now. This is what I'm going to do next. This is because I can't. There's only so many hours in a day.
Right. Okay. Well, this is how it would work if you wanted to get started. First thing we would do is get connected to everything. We turn the AI.
Okay, so now from here, what I'm doing is I'm going into the close, okay? So I'm just outlining what the next steps look like. I did not ask her this. I'm just curious, but in terms of the process, how do you feel? This is a very, very important question to ask, and I missed it. So don't miss it, because what this will allow you to do is see if they're sold or not. And if they're not, if they don't feel good about it, or you can tell that something's off, you can then recalibrate and re-tie down the earlier conversation around what they said and how they said they need to do it based off the discovery and then based off the pitch. Okay. But what I'm doing now is I'm outlining what the next steps look like before dropping the price, because it's very important that you let them know exactly what's going to take place next before you tell them the price, so that when you do tell them the price, they don't have any other questions, because you want it to be as easy as possible for them to say yes without any hesitation, so that you're not in a situation where you're going back and forth. What happens next? What do you do here? Blah, 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 after you've just pitched them the price. Because at that point, people can get confused. And if people get confused, you're in a bad spot.
AI on so that it's hands-free from you, so that we don't need to get anything from you. We're reaching out to these people to get them through the door, and then also following up with people to get reviews and referrals. Okay? So this is how it would work if you wanted to get started. We give you the 12-month rate for the first month, and then if you don't want to continue after the first month, you don't have to. But if you do want to continue, we'll do a 12-month commitment. Does that make sense? Okay, so the investment for the 1 month, or at least the first month at the 12-month rate is $250.
That's feasible. Yeah.
You want to get started?
Yeah. That's completely feasible. That's nothing outrageous.
Okay. Well, then this is what we'll do is I'll be able to send you the one-page agreement. We go through it together, make sure we get it signed up on, process the payment, and then we can schedule the onboarding call. Does that sound good?
That's great. Yep.
Okay. So obviously she was good for it. And then what I let her know is next thing we're going to do is sign the agreement, process payment, and then book the onboarding call. Does that sound good? That's very, very important that you outline those next steps so that they know they're going to do it right now on the call. Because the last thing you want to do in a situation like this is send them the agreement, send them the invoice, and then do it from there. Because number one, you're going to have to do back and forth with them. And then number two, there's a chance that they could slip away, right? She's already decided she wants to do this. She's very emotional. She needs help, and I know I can help her. And she's obviously ready to make a change to get that help, right? So we don't want to send it to her. We don't want to give her the chance to think about it. We want to capitalize on the fact that she's ready to go right now and get the deal done and move on from there. But this is a great example. And like I said, we actually upsold her onto our whole system for $8,000 paid in full. And then we just got another $8,000 paid in full from her, because this was actually a call that I did in November of 2024. So about 7 months ago. But I hope this video was helpful. Like I said, if you're looking to get help when it comes to building an AI automation agency like this, feel free to book a call with me. I'd love to talk with you about how I can help you scale it. If not, I hope you gain some value from this, and I will see you in the next one.